You're telling me Shawn Levy finally gets his shot and his dream is to make a Rey Palpatine movie? No, I bet it wasn't. But once again, this is something that has been forced upon a director like this. This is par for the course. This is how Star Wars, this is how the girls at Lucasfilm have always operated. This is how Kathleen Kennedy has always operated.
Renegade Online.
The original thing is this. The movie Starfighter, right? And this is the newest. This is the one that's actually, like, this is really happening. This is the one with Amy Adams. Like, we have a script. We have a cast. We have Ryan Gosling. We have Amy Adams. This is a thing. It is in physical production. Now, we didn't know exactly what this movie was going to entail. Okay? There were guesses, there are rumors, there's innuendo, right? But what is really going to happen? Well, now there's several sources out there. Daniel RPK, I think, was one. John Rocca was another one. I know not everybody in this audience likes some of those names I just now mentioned. And that's fine, but I do respect the information that they get from time to time, and a lot of it turns out to be good. So, again, we're call balls and strikes. We're going to be fair as fair can be. The movie Starfighter has a plot where Ryan Gosling protects the, quote, son of a female Jedi. Amy Adams plays the female Jedi. And Flynn Gray plays her son, a Force sensitive. This term, this Force sensitive thing gets thrown around for everything now. Ryan's character is not Force sensitive, but rushes around to protect the son from the villain. This is literally the plot of The Mandalorian. They've made another Mandalorian. That's not the worst part. They don't know what else to do. This is the Shawn Levy, right? The Deadpool and Wolverine Shawn Levy movie. And look, let me add to it, and then we'll go into it, because I know y'all probably going to have a lot to say about this. Josh from Den of Nerds says, okay, this is true. Because he had heard from his own sources that have been very, very reliable, as he's described in the past, and have been bang on. And I think he said, this is the absolute best source he's got. I'm paraphrasing, but the one he trusts with the highest degree of trust possible. Okay, this is true. And they're on a mission from Amy Adams to take the kid to Rey Palpatine. That's right, Star Wars fans. The cool Starfighter movie from Deadpool and Wolverine director Shawn Levy is taking the Force-sensitive kid to effing Rey Skywalker. I effing hate it here. You can see clearly that Josh is quite enthused that this is where the plot for this movie's going. Ladies and gentlemen, it's another Rey Skywalker movie. And absent anything to contradict this at this point, I'm going to go ahead and take this as gospel. I got no reason not to. I can see the audience is already thrilled. So what we've got here, not only is it we did The Mandalorian and that worked 5 years ago, mind you. We're going to take the exact same story with the exact same plot with a bounty hunter, Han Solo type bounty hunter, kind of cool dude that is going to be hired to go rescue a kid, or spends the show or the story trying to get a kid who is being hunted because he's Force sensitive or a Jedi from point A to point B. This is Starfighter. And Amy Adams is the mother. Now, I messaged, or I posted on Josh's thing, okay, so tell me, is this going to be Mara Jade? She's a redhead, right? This is Mara Jade. No word on that, or at least the word is right now, no. But again, where does this kid come from? This kid comes from Luke's Jedi Academy that we saw in Mando, or the beginnings of it with Grogu in Mando. That's how this is all fit together. So this takes place in a universe, not only that is obviously still tied to the Disney sequel trilogy, but is going to have Daisy Ridley in it. But is you're going to have Rey Skywalker in it. And my next question was, what type of impact does this then have on the alleged Charmin Obaid-Chinoy? You remember her? I enjoy making men uncomfortable. Her, that one, that bitch. The one that they went, remember, that was the movie that Damon Lindelof was writing, and then Stephen Knight was writing, and then 27 other people were in there and writing, and the last person left at the end of the day was Charmin Obaid-Chinoy, because, you know, Kathleen Kennedy's never going to terminate somebody like Charmin Obaid-Chinoy because she hates men, and she wants to make this a girl power movie, and Charmin isn't going to quit because she's got nowhere else to go, because she makes, you know, $2 movies. And she makes $5 documentaries. You know, the multi-million-dollar paycheck she's eventually hoping to get from doing a big $300-400 million Star Wars movie is more money than she'll ever make in the rest of her life. So she ain't going anywhere. So the question is, well, wait a minute. I thought we were making a Rey movie with her, Charmin, but now Rey is a part of this movie, the Shawn Levy movie, with Ryan Gosling and Amy Adams. If the rumor about Amy Adams being a Jedi in Starfighter is true, then that means she's a survivor of Luke's Jedi Order. And then Josh reposted it with, not only did Raka get this right, but I know even more. And it's basically the worst version of this movie that I could imagine. That's how it started. And then this came out that we just read, and Josh was like, oh, well, somebody else let the cat out the bag, so now I can talk about it because I didn't leak it. Now I'm talking about what somebody else said, and all I can say is that, yes, this is true. I've heard the exact same thing from a source I trust. The future of Star Wars is all Rey, so you better just straddle up. My response was, thanks, I'll find another horse. I'm still mad about it. I'm feeling better, but honestly, this was finally this morning. I still can't believe it's happening. It's true that I've been hearing that Rey is the centerpiece of the future for Star Wars content for years, but I also know not everyone over there thinks that this is a good idea. And this is what I wanted to talk about. It's shocking to me, he says, that the entire plot of Starfighter is basically a primer to get the new Force-sensitive character to Rey. Like, that's too much. Ultimately, the reason I hate this is because it's not organic. There's just zero chance Shawn Levy was sitting around thinking of a movie that led to Rey. And this was the point he made during his live show yesterday that I thought was really, really, really brilliant. This is a movie corporation to try and prop up and fix the character they created. This is all about building a bridge from the sequels to more movies. Shawn's movie could still be awesome, but Star Wars should be more than this. And let me tell you what I'm talking about this. I thought his point yesterday on the show, Saturday morning at like 10 a.m., I thought that was the best thing he nailed, was that he was frustrated that, you know, Shawn Levy had done interviews, I think especially following the success of Deadpool and Wolverine, talking about how this was such a thing for him. Long time, you know, fan of Star Wars since he was a little kid, like a lot of us were, and he always had this vision in his head, and he wanted to make a Star Wars movie, and he wanted to do this and that, and he had these ideas in his head. And you're telling me Shawn Levy finally gets his shot and his dream is to make a Rey Palpatine movie? No, I bet it wasn't. But once again, this is something that has been forced upon a director like this. This is par for the course. This is how Star Wars, this is how the girls at Lucasfilm have always operated. This is how Kathleen Kennedy has always operated. My point is that he kind of hits it home right here. We talked about this with Stephen Knight and all these other people that have come and gone, all these names we've heard about, right? And we've seen it happen at Marvel too, right? They get these, we're going to get these really, you know, big name, this guy, we're going to get that guy's going to write it and all this. And then the movie comes out and it's like, man, that movie sucked because it was a Kevin Feige movie. It doesn't matter who you have attached to it. It's still Feige. The same thing is true here. The ridiculous nature of, and especially in 2025, and I'm going to get to the part where I'm like, I'm still kind of in disbelief at this. And I know you guys are thinking, Valiant, you're crazy. You should have known this was coming. They were always going to, I get that. But there's part of me that's still in disbelief. What I wanted to get to on this idea, though, with Rey Palpatine here, and Shawn Lee. I don't believe for a second that this right here is what he wanted to do. He came in there, he probably had a really good idea. He probably had something fun and wanted to just make a Star Wars movie. And then at some point in the process, I'm sure Kennedy or the people with that maybe higher than her came in and decided that, okay, you can do whatever you want, but whatever you do, Rey's got to be in it, and she's got to be featured. I mean, that's pretty horrific. But here's the thing, and assuming all of this is true, and again, I have no reason to believe it isn't. To me, even in 2025, and this is the key thing, I find it even spectacular in 2025 that Disney would do this. I understand why they're doing it. I understand why KK wants to do it. I don't know. This is the point. This is the level of absolute disconnect from the audience that the Walt Disney Company constantly suffers from. I mean, the hilariously bad disconnect from the audience. That this would even be considered and is probably happening right now. Like, this is probably, she's going to be on set. They are filming this thing that apparently where Rey is going to be a major part of it. They cannot read the room. And this is the hubris that they face. Is that they should know by now, right? You know what? Look, we don't have to. I don't expect Disney to come out and retcon anything at this point and say, "Oh, it was all fake. Never mind, start over." But at the very least, just pretend like it never happened. You could make Star Wars like Mandalorian and Grogu, right? They're going to try to give the normies out there a Star Wars movie that they think the normies can wrap their heads around. And a lot of that is pretending that season 3 of Mando never happened, pretending that the Book of Boba Fett never happened. 2 terrible shows never happened. Let's try to pretend that The Acolyte never happened and all the other stuff that people either didn't watch, didn't care about, or they did see and it drove them away. Everything has been downhill since Mando season 2, and that was 5 years ago now. 5 years. It'll be 5.5 years since Mando season 2 that this new movie will come out, Mando and Grogu, next summer. And then this thing is supposed to come out in 2027. It truly boggles the mind that they still want to force this character into existence, knowing everything they know. Because the evidence out there, the data out there, forget how we feel about it. The commercial viability of this character, it's irrefutably bad. And it's frustrating to me that you're going to have, Disney still going down the road of spending, $300+ million shooting this film, and they've already handicapped it. They've already, apart from, and in 2025, I can't believe we say this, but apart from the fact that the name Star Wars right now is already handicapped, you're going to push it to the next level by putting this character back in a movie. Again, this wasn't the Rey movie. This is not the Rey movie. This is not the Charmin Obeyed Shinoy, the Rey Skywalker movie. This is not episode 10 or whatever, or it was not intended to be. This was just Shawn Levy was doing Starfighter. He was doing a shoot 'em up Starfighter movie that is in the Star Wars universe. But he's literally come up with his lifelong dream, we are to believe, was to come up with The Mandalorian, the exact same story as The Mandalorian, but with Rey instead of Luke at the end. Right? They brought Grogu, Luke shows up. Right? No. This time we have another young, in danger Jedi. But this time, instead of Luke showing up in Red 5 at the end of season 2 in Mando, this time it's Rey. Piss off. Again, I am still astonished in 2025 that this is the road. I mean, you can say what you want, but at some point you got to realize my business brain kicks in. And you got to, at some point, no matter how steeped in this that they are, that they're still willing to play with fire like this when it's clear that this is not going to, it never has worked and it's not going to work. But somewhere in Disney's mind right now, and maybe Alan Bergman, and of course Kennedy too, no doubt. Kennedy is not a visionary. I'm not saying I don't trust Kathleen Kennedy to make any kind of smart business decision. show me once when she has, apart from marrying Frank. That might have been the only smart business decision she made in her life. And sticking around Steven and Richard and Frank and all the other boys that made her a load of money. She's never exhibited any capacity to run a studio in proper fashion and not lose a boatload of money doing it. So somebody above her, like Alan Bergman, has to be the one to go, no. And Alan Bergman, like we've joked in the past, might be the best guy at Disney because he stopped Kathleen Kennedy from putting out anything from Star Wars since 2019. Which has been a blessing. Those floodgates are about to open again. Mando and Grogu, right? We get that one again because that's Jon Favreau. It's got nothing to do with the sequel trilogy era. It was they made a popular little duo there until they screwed it up after season 2. But they feel like, hey, we've got enough here that we can get people back in and make a big splash at the box office again with Star Wars. Okay, I don't necessarily agree with their hopes for this movie, and I still don't. I don't think it's going to be a massive failure, but I don't think it's going to do that great either. I think it's going to be middling. I think it's going to wind up with a middling box office that's probably, I think, what did I say before? Like maybe 100 million more or so than Fantastic Four. I'm thinking like 600s, in the 600 range. It's not going to be great, but it won't be awful, right? And we got the first teaser trailer for it. But that movie makes the most sense for Star Wars right now. This makes no sense. This makes absolutely no sense. You need audiences to forget that character ever happened. That's the only hope you have. And if you start reminding them again that she's out there, but this is the problem. Disney right now is thinking, and I'm telling you this is what's going on, because this goes beyond Kennedy. Disney right now is thinking that enough time has passed. Listen to me. Disney's mind right now says enough time has passed. That we can safely bring this character back because they don't want to admit failure. And that's what this is all about. Again, I think their assessment is absolutely insane. And I think what they're hoping for with this, by putting her in this movie, is they're using, basically what they've done here is they've given Shawn Levy a test project. Now, he didn't know he was getting involved in a test project at first. I don't think. I don't have any evidence one way or the other. I'm saying this is just my personal gut reaction to all this. Shawn Levy had, again, a lot of success. Deadpool and Wolverine, $1.6 billion at the global box office. Again, because Shawn Levy and Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman were left alone. Disney and Marvel and Kevin Feige left them the hell alone and let them do the movie they wanted to do because they knew what their audience wanted. I don't for a second believe that Shawn Levy came in and said, hey, I want to make a Rey movie. I think Shawn Levy was excited to finally make a Star Wars movie like he wanted to and thought that he was going to be given the same carte blanche basically as he had with Deadpool and Wolverine, or at least carte blanche on a scale that no other MCU director has ever been given in the last 10 years from Disney. I think he kind of thought he was going to get that deal with Star Wars. I don't think he got that deal. I think he got in there and he started working, and then he was put in a box, to make a fun movie, but then was eventually told, yeah, but your fun movie has to end over here with Rey. God help us. So I don't know. The Jedi Academy and all this kind of crap and a Force-sensitive user and blah, 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 blah. So it's probably going to be terrible. But I think they're doing this to see, okay, let's see what the audience reaction to this is. Because if the audience reaction to this is good, then we will fast track the next episode 10 Rey Skywalker movie. We'll be excited about that. If the movie does poorly and the audience reaction to Rey is bad, then they're probably going to be very tepid again about going forward again with this character anymore. The problem is they should already be well aware that it's bad news, but they seem too stupid to understand that.
Make sure you're subscribed to Valiant Renegade and join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live show.